If you're a diehard Browns fan and love breaking down the game like we do, hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell so you never miss a blitz. This Thursday, the Cleveland Browns find themselves standing at the edge of something extraordinary. The kind of draft night that could shift the entire trajectory of their franchise. With the number 2 overall pick in hand and a treasure trove of early round selections, Cleveland holds not just power, but the rare opportunity to rewrite its future in bold capital letters. And the name that could ignite it all? Travis Hunter. Generational athlete, a Heisman Trophy winner, a player who doesn't just shine, he redefines what's possible. Hunter isn't just a star cornerback. He isn't just a dynamic wide receiver. He's both. At an elite level, he's the kind of player you dream of building a franchise around. And with the 2nd overall pick, the Browns could make that dream a reality. But that's only the beginning of the intrigue. Because while Hunter is the name that makes your heart race, there's another. One that carries both weight and wonder. Shedeur Sanders, the Colorado quarterback. The son of Deion Coach Prime Sanders, a playmaker with accuracy, composure, and legs that can extend any play. His presence would bring attention, headlines, and perhaps a whole new energy to Cleveland. But with Hunter potentially off the board at number 2, grabbing Shedeur would require more than a little bit of draft day wizardry. Yet in a draft where chaos reigns and surprises define legacies, who's to say the Browns couldn't make it happen? Let's imagine this. Cleveland takes Hunter at number 2, making a generational commitment to a two-way star. The stadium erupts. Fans lose their minds. And yet, as the night wears on, a buzz begins to build. The top quarterbacks are coming off the board, but one name, Sanders, is sliding. Team after team opts for a different direction. Maybe the Giants stick with Daniel Jones. Maybe the Saints pass. And suddenly, Shedeur is still available as the middle of the first round approaches. Now Cleveland has a chance. With pick number 33 sitting at the top of round 2, and additional assets like pick number 67 and pick number 94 in their back pocket, the Browns could get aggressive. This isn't just about collecting talent. It's about making a statement. Imagine a trade package built around number 33, sweetened with number 67 and perhaps a future pick or player. Suddenly, the Browns are on the clock again, this time for their quarterback of the future. This isn't fantasy. It's not just a pipe dream whispered about on Twitter threads and late-night podcasts. It's a very real scenario being floated by insiders and former Brown stars. Josh Cribbs, one of the franchise's most beloved figures, has already spoken about what Shedeur Sanders could mean for the Browns, especially if he's paired with Travis Hunter. Cribbs isn't worried about the media circus or the Coach Prime spotlight. He sees the player, not the narrative. That's still his son. He's still going to be influencing him, but Shedeur is the guy out there throwing touchdowns and making plays with his mobility and accuracy. I thought he would fit in nice, especially with Stefanski's offense, Cribbs explained. His wife, Maria Cribbs, echoed that sentiment on their podcast, and she didn't hold back either. I would love to see both of them here, she said with conviction. It's a vision, one that feels far-fetched at first, but slowly becomes tantalizingly plausible. It's hard not to get swept up in the possibilities. Hunter is the kind of player who can flip a field in one play, whether he's breaking up a pass on 3rd down or taking a slant 60 yards to the house. Sanders brings poise, arm talent, and the kind of leadership presence that draws teammates in. Together, they bring star power and chemistry that's already been tested at Colorado. And they do it in Cleveland, a city starving for that. Next leap forward. We've seen what elite quarterback wide receiver duos can do in this league. But when you throw in Hunter's defensive brilliance, this pairing becomes something else entirely. A brand, a culture, a statement of intent. The Browns wouldn't just be drafting players, they'd be drafting belief. Of course it would take guts. It would take negotiation. It might even require a bold phone call in the middle of the first round that sends ripples through the draft. War room. But for a team with the right assets and a front office ready to take a swing, the reward could be historic. Cleveland hasn't always been associated with bold moves or offensive fireworks, but this could be the moment that changes everything. This could be the draft that future documentaries and highlight reels look back on and say, that's when it started. The turning point, the spark. Hunter at number 2, Sanders with a blockbuster trade. The Browns walking away from Thursday night, not with questions, but with answers. Not with hope, but with a plan. 2 cornerstone players, 1 unforgettable night. The Browns have waited a long time for a moment like this. And now, it's right in front of them. Are they ready to take it? Enjoying the content so far? Smash that like button and drop your take in the comments. We want to hear what you think about the Browns this season. The NFL Draft Week is finally upon us, and with it comes one last opportunity to delve into the mind of Andrew Berry and unravel what could be a defining moment for the Cleveland Browns. It's not just another draft for this franchise. This one feels different. There's a sense of anticipation that borders on electric. Browns fans know the stakes are high, the pressure is real, and the choices made this weekend could determine whether this team finally ascends into consistent playoff contention or stays mired in the frustrating cycle of missed opportunities and unmet potential. Let's start at the top, the number 2 overall pick. At this point, it almost feels inevitable. Travis Hunter, the moment general manager Andrew Berry sat down for his pre-draft media availability and couldn't stop singing the praises of the Colorado two-way phenom, it felt like destiny. He was practically glowing when talking about Hunter's athleticism, his football IQ, his character. He didn't just drop subtle hints, he might as well have written it in all caps on the draft board. We love Travis Hunter. It's hard to find anyone who doesn't see this coming now. Hunter has been mocked to the Browns in nearly every serious projection over the last month. And if they stay put at number 2, it will be genuinely shocking to see them take anyone else. Hunter, of course, is a unicorn, a rare breed in modern football, a player who excels at both cornerback and wide receiver. And while there's been some speculation over where exactly the Browns plan to use him, the overwhelming belief is that he'll start his NFL career on the defensive side, helping to shore up a secondary that has struggled to find consistency and health in recent years. He's a game changer, and you get the feeling Berry and head coach Kevin Stefanski believe they're bringing in not just an elite talent, but a culture setter, a guy who wants the ball in his hands and wants to shadow the opposing team's top weapon. That's the kind of competitive fire the Browns desperately need. But it's what the Browns do after the Hunter pick that makes this mock draft so fascinating. And yes, eye-opening, with 10 total picks and 3 more selections in the top 100, the Browns have ammunition. And based on this latest mock, they plan on using that firepower to completely reshape the offense. The biggest shock? They're doubling down at quarterback. That's right. The Browns don't just grab 1 QB in this simulation. They take 2. That's not a typo. After years of quarterback instability and the highly controversial Deshaun Watson acquisition, it seems Cleveland might finally be admitting they need to hedge their bets. Maybe Berry in the front office is seeing what the rest of the league sees, that despite his hefty contract and the hope attached to his arrival, Watson hasn't lived up to the billing. Injuries, inconsistency, off-field distractions, they've all added up. And if 2025 becomes another underwhelming year under center, the Browns need options. Plural. The first quarterback comes in the second round. And it's a name that's been generating serious buzz in recent weeks. Michael Penix Jr., the former Washington Husky, has had one of the more intriguing rises up draft boards, despite concerns about his medical history. But if you watched him sling it in the Pac-12, you know what the hype's about. Penix has a cannon for an arm, great deep ball accuracy, and plays with poise. There's a maturity in his game that you don't often find in college QBs. And while he's not a dual threat in the Lamar Jackson mold, he moves well enough to extend plays. The Browns bringing him in signals a potential changing of the guard. It's a message to Watson. The leash is shorter than you think, but the Browns don't stop there. In the 5th round, they circle back and snag Tulane's Michael Pratt. Now this one turns heads. Pratt isn't as polished or as flashy as Penix, but he's a gamer. Gritty, tough, a locker room favorite. He's the kind of guy you want in your building. Someone who competes, pushes the starter, and is always ready when his number's called. Could he develop into a long-term starter? Maybe, maybe not. But what he definitely brings is competition, and the Browns clearly want as much of that as possible in the QB room heading into training camp. This isn't just about talent, it's about accountability by bringing in 2 quarterbacks in one draft. The Browns are making a statement The status quo isn't good enough. No one's job is safe, and they're not going to sit on their hands hoping things magically improve. Beyond the quarterback drama, the Browns' mock continues to load up on offense. There's a running back in round 3, a powerful between the tackles runner who can ease the burden on Nick Chubb, who's coming off a serious injury. There's also a tight end who could step in immediately as a red zone threat. And not to be forgotten, the Browns invest heavily in offensive tackle depth. Smart, given how banged up their line was last year. They know that protecting whoever lines up under center is priority number 1. It's a draft strategy that feels aggressive but calculated. Barry isn't just throwing darts at the board. He's attacking key weaknesses with volume and upside. He's giving this coaching staff options, tools, different styles of playmakers at crucial positions. And perhaps most importantly, he's ensuring that the team has the depth to survive the inevitable injuries that come over a long NFL season. Of course, there are still some questions on the defensive side that remain unaddressed in this particular mock. The Browns could probably use another interior defensive lineman. A rangy linebacker wouldn't hurt either. But with Jim Schwartz leading the defense, there's confidence in the building that he can scheme up pressure and production with our tools already in place. The bigger concern, and the reason his draft leans so heavily offense, is that Cleveland simply hasn't been able to score enough points to keep pace with the top teams in the AFC. That has to change. And fast! So what does this all mean for the 2025 Browns? It means we are likely looking at a roster that was going to feel very different from what we've seen in years past. A new quarterback room, a potentially generational talent anchoring the secondary. An offense built with flexibility, aggression, and creativity in mind. This isn't a rebuild, but it's definitely a reshaping, a recalibration of priorities. And if this draft hits, if even half of these picks pan out, Cleveland could finally be turning the corner. But make no mistake, the clock is ticking. The Browns don't get infinite chances. The fans have been patient for long enough. And with the Bengals and Ravens looking like perennial contenders in the division, the pressure is on to keep up. Andrew Berry knows it. Kevin Stefanski knows Adi. And if this mock draft is any indication, they're planning to come out swinging. NFL Draft Week is here. And for the Browns, the stakes couldn't be higher. Thanks for riding with us on another Browns Blitz. If you liked the video, share it with a fellow fan, hit subscribe, and ring that bell so you're always part of the Dog Pound conversation. Go Browns!